Have you ever wondered how large public housing projects came to be and why some of them became such controversial issues? These projects were created with the noble goal of providing affordable housing for low-income families, but they often faced a number of challenges. Not only do they struggle with economic and maintenance issues, but also with social and design problems that can severely impact the quality of life for the residents. Looking at the Pruitt-Igoe in St. Louis, USA, that was built in the 1950s. Pruitt-Igoe was conceived as a modernist solution to the urban housing needs of St. Louis. Designed by architect Minoru Yamasaki, it consisted of 33 11-story buildings with a total of 2,870 apartments. Despite being one of the largest public housing projects in the country and funded by federal dollars, the complex began to rapidly deteriorate soon after its completion. The controversy surrounding Pruitt-Igoe stems from its rapid decline due to poor design, lack of maintenance, social problems, and rising crime. These factors led to mass vacancies and ultimately the demolition of the complex in the 1970s. Pruitt-Igoe has become a symbol of the failure of modernist urban planning, demonstrating how architectural flaws and lack of social support can contribute to the collapse of public housing projects. Then you have the Cabrini-Green Homes in Chicago, USA. Built in the 1940s and 1950s, the Cabrini-Green Homes began as a promising public housing project in Chicago. The first section, the Francis Cabrini Homes, was completed in 1942 to house war industry workers and World War II veterans. The Cabrini extension, known as the Reds for their red brick exteriors, was completed in 1958, and the William Green Homes, known as the Whites, were completed in 1962 with white concrete buildings. The controversy surrounding Cabrini-Green lies in its notorious reputation for violence, gang activity, and deteriorating living conditions. Poor planning, physical deterioration, administrative neglect, gang violence, and chronic unemployment made Cabrini-Green a national symbol of urban decay and housing policy failure. The Chicago Housing Authority, CHA, began demolishing the Cabrini-Green buildings in 2000 as part of a plan to transform the city's public housing, and the last building was demolished in 2011. The Red Road Flats in Glasgow, Scotland, was built in Glasgow between 1964 and 1966. The Red Road Flats were the tallest buildings in Europe at the time, with some reaching up to 89 meters. Designed to house up to 4,700 residents, these steel blocks used asbestos for fire protection, which later caused health problems. Initially seen as an improvement in living conditions, they soon developed a reputation for high crime rates and social problems, including serious incidents of fire and vandalism. The decision to demolish the buildings was made in 2008, and they were demolished in 3 phases between 2012 and 2015, ending their legacy as a controversial symbol of Glasgow's post-war urban renewal policies. Then there is the Bijlmermeer, located in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, that was designed in the 1960s as an ambitious urban project that applied modernist principles of light, ventilation, traffic separation, and internal circulation. Designed by Siegfried Nassauth and the Department of Urban Development, it was initially celebrated for its architectural innovation and well-conceived collective spaces. Over the years, however, the project faced significant challenges. In the 1970s, the Dutch government offered Surinamese passports to emigrate to the Netherlands, and many found housing in Bijlmermeer. This became a long-term solution to the housing needs of the new residents. In the 1980s and 1990s, however, Bijlmermeer experienced social isolation, lack of facilities, and a disturbing increase in crime. In an attempt to address these issues, an ambitious redevelopment plan was proposed by OMA in 1986, although it was never fully implemented. Partial renovations and the demolition of some structures were steps taken to improve living conditions in their area, although the results were not as expected. Looking at the Trellick Tower located in the UK was designed by Erno Goldfinger and completed in 1972. Initially faced serious problems with high crime rates and maintenance issues. Located in the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, the 98-meter tower was plagued by crime, vandalism, and recurring problems with elevators and electrical systems. These challenges contributed to its negative reputation in the decades following its construction. Beginning in the 1980s, however, the situation began to change with the implementation of improved security measures, the hiring of a concierge, and better building management. These initiatives not only reduced crime, but also significantly improved the living conditions of the residents. Over time, Trellick Tower began to be appreciated for its brutalist architecture and location in Notting Hill, attracting private buyers interested in its apartments. Today, the tower stands as an architectural landmark in London and is listed as a Grade II building. Through refurbishment and a focus on security and community management, Trellick Tower demonstrates how even the most controversial social housing projects can be transformed into desirable and valued homes. Controversial public housing projects such as Pruitt-Igoe, Cabrini-Green, Bijlmermeer, and Trellick Tower have been critical testing grounds for urban planning. Their histories reflect significant challenges, from high crime rates and maintenance problems to stigma and initial neglect. But these experiences also reveal important lessons. Holistic planning is essential. Early failures underscore the importance of considering not only the physical infrastructure, but also the social and economic needs of the community. Community participation emerges as a critical factor in long-term success. Projects such as Cabrini-Green show how a lack of resident involvement can lead to deterioration and a lack of ownership of the space. Sustainable design is essential to environmental and economic viability. Examples such as Pruitt-Igoe underscore how massive construction without environmental considerations or adequate planning can lead to collapse. On the other hand, the revitalization of Trellick Tower, following improvements in security and management, shows how investment in sustainability and maintenance can transform a degraded environment into a desirable place to live. Ongoing government and community support is critical. Lack of political and financial support contributed to the decline of many projects, while those that received consistent attention and resources managed to recover. The story of Bijlmermeer shows how initial neglect was followed by significant investments that improved the quality of life and revitalized the community. What do you think of these moments in controversial housing projects? Do you know of others? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and see you next time.